All right, so back to exponents, powers of 10, except it's not. This is now scientific notation. So we're going to start off with 1 times 10 to the 0. You might recall that any number to the 0 power is 1. We say, we already did this problem. And well, we kind of did, but notice that it begins with 1 times. So at any rate, we got 1 times 1. Answer is going to be 1. So 1 times 10 to the 0 is 1. So again, we sometimes start off with a sort of trivial example. Scientific notation is going to be a 1-digit number. We'll actually use the times sign. A lot of times in algebra you avoid using that because it's going to look like the letter X that we're going to use for other reasons. So we have a 1-digit number times X, 10 to some power. So now we have 1 times 10 to the 1. We can pretty much ignore the 1 times. It's just there for formatting issues. But if you bear with me, right, we're going to start to see some cases in future problems that don't have the 1. But as usual, let's just learn to spot the pattern here. 1 times 10 squared. Scientific notation, regular number is 100. 1 times 10 cubed is 1 followed by 3 zeros, 1,000. You may or may not want the comma for 1,000. 1 times 10 to the 4th with 4 zeros. Definitely going to need to use the comma for that one. 1 times 10 to the 5th is 100,000. 1 times 10 to the 6th, we've talked about this a little bit before, right? 10 to the 3rd is 1,000. 10 to the 6th is 1,000,000. We're going to have our first 2 comma number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros. We place a comma every 3 zeros, so 6 divided by 3 is 2. We're going to have 2 complete sets of commas on 1 times 10 to the 6th. 10 times bigger with 7 zeros is going to be 10 million. Count them up. There's 7 zeros there. 1 times 10 to the 8th. 100 million. And now 1 times 10 to the 9th, again, we have a number divisible by 3. It's going to be 1 billion. You're going to have 3 sets of commas. Billion, our first 3 comma number. And then just to demonstrate the point here, 1 times 10 to the 12th. This is going to be 1 trillion. 12 divided by 3 is 4. We're going to have 1 followed by 4 sets of commas. So that's how we do exponential notation. You're asking, what is the point of this? Just simply ask yourself, what's an easier way to write 1 billion? How many pen strokes does it take to write out 1 billion? Versus the nice compact form 1 times 10 to the 12th. So sometimes the exponential notation is going to be simpler. Sometimes expressing 1 as 1 times 10 to the 0 is admittedly kind of silly. It happens to be true. So again, you just need to use your judgment here. Sometimes it's going to be more compact for smaller numbers to just write the numbers. As we start to get really big numbers, you'll notice that it starts to be more compact using the scientific notation, and that's why we use scientific notation. It's just convenient. It avoids writing really long numbers that end up taking up half your page.